in the quiet corners of a marriage where love once burned brightly, many couples find themselves adrift in a sea of silence. The spark of intimacy fades, not because love has vanished, but because life's demands, work, parenting, endless notifications have built invisible walls. If you're married yet feel lonely, if physical connection has dwindled to rare moments or none at all, you're not alone. A sexless marriage, often defined as having sex fewer than 10 times a year, affects countless couples. But within this challenge lies an opportunity for profound transformation. This is the story of Sarah and Michael, a couple whose love has been buried under the weight of routine and unspoken hurts. Through their journey, we'll explore how Buddhist wisdom and Tantric practices can illuminate the path back to connection. Rooted in mindfulness, compassion, and the sacred art of presence, these ancient teachings offer modern couples a way to rediscover intimacy, not just physical, but emotional and spiritual. We'll weave their story with practical steps, inspired by the Tantric principle of seeing the divine in each other, to help you transform loneliness into closeness. Let's walk this path together, one story, one truth, one moment at a time. Sarah sat at the kitchen table, stirring her coffee, the clink of the spoon the only sound in the house. Michael was upstairs, scrolling through his phone, avoiding the tension that had become their norm. Married for 10 years, they were parents to a lively 6-year-old, partners in a well-run household, but strangers in their own bed. Their marriage wasn't broken, just quiet, too quiet. The last time they'd been intimate was months ago, a fleeting moment that felt more like obligation than connection. Sarah felt invisible. Michael felt rejected. They were living an emotional divorce, not by choice, but by drift. In Buddhist teachings, this drift is called avadhi-bignorance. Not ignorance in the sense of stupidity, but a lack of awareness, a failure to see clearly. Sarah and Michael were ignorant of each other's inner worlds, her longing for affirmation, his fear of not being enough. Life's demands, deadlines, school runs, endless notifications had clouded their vision, leaving them disconnected. Tantric practice, rooted in Buddhist principles, teaches that intimacy begins with presence. To truly see each other, they needed to pause and turn toward the moment. One evening, after another silent dinner, Sarah broke the quiet. "Do you even want me anymore?" she asked, her voice trembling. Michael looked up, startled, his own hurt surfacing. "I thought you didn't want me." In that raw exchange, they saw the first crack in their ignorance, a chance to rebuild. Tantric wisdom invites couples to start here in honest vulnerability, recognizing that connection is not lost, only obscured. Proverb: in the shadow of ignorance, love waits for the light of awareness. Reflection: modern life pulls us apart: work stress, digital distractions, unspoken expectations. Take a moment to notice. When did you last truly see your partner? Try sitting together for 5 minutes without phones, just listening to the silence. Notice what arises. The next week, Sarah found an article about tantric practices for couples. Skeptical but desperate, she suggested they try something new. Michael agreed, though he felt awkward. They sat on their living room floor, guided by a simple tantric exercise, gazing into each other's eyes for 5 minutes, no words, just presence. At first, it was uncomfortable. Sarah fidgeted. Michael's mind wandered to work. But as they settled, something shifted. They began to see each other, not as roles, wife, husband, parent, but as beings with fears, hopes, and unspoken love. This practice draws from Buddhist mindfulness, the art of dwelling fully in the present. In Tantra, intimacy is not just physical, but a sacred act of connection, where body, mind, and spirit align. The exercise, called soul gazing, invited them to focus on the sensations of the moment, the warmth of their breath, the softness of their gaze. It was a reminder that intimacy begins with awareness, not performance. As they continued, Sarah noticed Michael's eyes soften, revealing a vulnerability she'd forgotten. Michael felt a warmth in his chest, a flicker of the love they'd once shared. This was the Tantric principle of sacred touch, not necessarily physical, but an energetic connection that flows when two people are fully present. They ended the session holding hands, a small gesture that felt monumental. Proverb: a single touch in the present ignites the eternal flame of connection. Reflection: distraction is the enemy of intimacy. Try a tantric-inspired exercise. Sit facing your partner, breathe in sync, and notice their presence without judgment. Start with 2 minutes. What do you feel? Modern couples often rush past these moments, but they are the foundation of closeness. Emboldened, Sarah and Michael tried another tantric practice, synchronized breathing. Sitting close, they matched their breaths, inhaling and exhaling together, letting their rhythms align. At first, it felt mechanical, but soon they found a shared cadence. In this space, Sarah shared her fear of being unlovable. Michael admitted his worry of failing her. These confessions, raw and unguarded, opened a door to compassion. In Buddhism, compassion, karuna, is the heart's response to suffering our own and others. Tantra elevates this by treating the partner as a divine mirror, reflecting both flaws and beauty. By listening with compassion, Sarah and Michael began to dissolve the walls of resentment. They realized their celibacy wasn't just about sex, it was about emotional safety. Sarah needed to feel cherished. Michael needed to feel accepted. One night, they tried a tantric ritual. Sitting face to face, each placed a hand on the other's heart, breathing together. The simple act of feeling each other's heartbeat grounded them in the present, melting layers of fear. This practice, rooted in tantric teachings, views physical connection as a sacred dance, not a goal, but a journey of mutual reverence. Proverb: in the gaze of compassion, we see the divine in each other. Reflection: fear and shame often block intimacy. Try placing a hand on your partner's heart and breathing together for 3 minutes. Notice their warmth, their humanity. In a world that demands perfection, compassion is the bridge to true connection. Months later, Sarah and Michael's marriage was not perfect, but it was alive. They made time for daily tantric practices, sometimes a shared meditation, sometimes a moment of eye contact before bed. These rituals became anchors, reminding them to stay connected amid life's chaos. Their intimacy grew not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. They laughed more, argued less, and began to see each other as partners in a sacred journey. Buddhist teachings speak of praditya samutpa, interdependence, the understanding that all things are interconnected. In Tantra, this translates to the idea of sacred resonance, where two people's energies align, creating a harmony that transcends the mundane. Sarah and Michael learned that intimacy is not a destination, but a practice, a daily choice to show up with openness and reverence. Their story isn't about a fairy tale ending, but a real one. They still faced stress, but they faced it together, using tantric tools to stay grounded. By treating their relationship as a spiritual path, they found not just intimacy, but purpose. Proverb: in the sacred resonance of presence, we become each other's home. Reflection: intimacy requires commitment to the present. Try setting aside 5 minutes each day to connect with your partner through touch, gaze, or shared breath. In a world that pulls us apart, these moments weave us back together. Sarah and Michael's journey shows us that a sexless marriage is not the end, but a beginning, a call to awaken. Buddhist wisdom and tantric practices offer a path through the loneliness, not by chasing passion, but by cultivating presence, compassion, and reverence. Their story reminds us that love, like a flame, needs tending to burn brightly. Here are 3 tantric-inspired practices to try. 1. Soul gazing. Sit facing your partner for 5 minutes, looking into their eyes without speaking. Notice their presence without judgment. 2. Synchronized breathing. Sit close, match your breaths for 3 minutes, feeling the rhythm of connection. 3. Heart touch. Place a hand on each other's heart, breathe together, and share one thing you appreciate about each other. These small acts, rooted in mindfulness and Tantra, can transform loneliness into closeness. Start where you are with one moment, one breath. Share your experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. Together, let's rediscover the sacred in love.